As promised, hello. I am showing up later than I normally do to do this TikTok live because I realized I am on the East Coast of the United States, and I realized that when I show up early for the people on the East Coast who are getting ready, that I am I'm not showing up for the people on the West Coast. And so I wanted to show up a few hours later for me, which still may be early on the West Coast, to say hello. Hello, my name is Beth. I am the Decluttering Life Coach from Destination Decluttered. And I call my coaching, here I'm trying to get it all, call my coaching Destination Decluttered. Here, I'll just move myself over. Destination Decluttered, because if you are cluttered, I love to road trip and travel, and I help you in your little car get to where you want to go to. All right, as you can tell already, I'm a bit of a muppet of a person, and I like to make coaching fun. I love to help people with what they're struggling with. I am really good at helping you create order out of chaos. And so thank you, Grocery Store Glam. I'm so glad you like my lives. Hi from New Jersey. Okay, so there are some East Coast people there. Yay. I just realized too, I always forget this because I've only been doing like a handful of these, like literally since like February, that there's always a way that I can go do this and I can actually see it larger, because who needs to see my face all the time? Not me. I see it all the time. Here's what I want to offer to you all as you're tuning in. First of all, Grandma's for Freedom. I did not know you were in the Poconos. That's awesome. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm glad you're saying that what I'm offering is helping you, because that's why I'm doing this. I'm showing up on my days to just let you know how decluttering your life does not need to be overwhelming. Overwhelm may be what's stopping you, but I am here to let you know it doesn't have to be overwhelming. It can be fun, and especially, I'm on like the news, especially the fact that it's not just about having a nice decluttered home. Washington State, thank you for letting me know that that the West Coast of the U.S. I'm hitting you. So thank you so much for that geographic shout out. I appreciate it. And what I want to also, okay, so Paige, I'll get to, you're drowning. You're not drowning. Here, you know what? I'm sending you a little life raft, okay? It's one of those ones that's like shaped like a donut. I've got a little thing on it, so just hang on to that, and I promise I'll get to you. But what I want to let you know is it's not just about having a decluttered home, because if all that was, anybody could do that. What I love is when you are decluttering, you are finding out more about what you like in your life and what you don't, because you decide to keep what you like and you can release what you don't. So therefore, when you have a decluttered home and you're not spending all your time spinning your wheels saying, I have to clean my house all the time, you gain time in your life for the things that are important. Okay. Sun City, Arizona, chiming in. I love it. So yes, so here I am. And let's just jump into it. So here's what happens. Let me just give you the overview. And because I'll forget these things, and I think I'm going to sneeze. And I should probably not be talking so fast. Okay. So here's what I want to say. So, couple of housekeeping-y, boring, admin-y type things. So Destination Decluttered is me here on TikTok. Please like my page. I think that amplifies who gets notified when I'm doing Zooms. Also, if you are struggling with your clutter, I've done a ton of videos, and I do them daily, multiple times a day, that will help you get motivated and give you practical tips on how to get decluttered in a fun way. To think about it. Excuse me. The other thing is if you want to be on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, go to destinationdecluttered.com/join. You will get on the mailing list, wicked easy. You'll get a free habit tracker that I use myself daily that I love to share. And you will also be invited to the where we do almost like a thing where you ask your questions and I answer it like on Zoom. It's going to be next week on the 21st in the evening on the East Coast. So if you sign up, you'll get the Zoom call for that. And then the last thing is if you want one-on-one coaching, that's where I work directly one-on-one with you through Zoom. I never come to your house. You don't have to show me anything. You show me pictures. We talk about it, because the clutter is not necessarily the stuff that's in your home. The stuff in your home is kind of a reflection of what's going on up here. So if you want to do one-on-one coaching with me, if you like the way I present things and stuff like that there, as I often say, there's a place on my website to sign up for a consultation so we can talk about that. Okay? Blah. There's enough of that good stuff. You know how to do those things. Let's hit it. Let me see who is answering questions. The other thing, too, I'm going to always tell everybody, is please note that if I don't answer your question, the way that these questions come up in front of me, you've probably seen it. Like I'm scrolling, like there won't be any, and then all of a sudden there'll be like a deluge of them. So if I inadvertently miss yours, do not take it personally. If it's something that I haven't covered by the end of the time I'm here, I'm going to be doing this for about an hour and a half here. Feel free to send me a message during TikTok on TikTok, and I can do a video that will answer the question you're struggling with. Okay. The other thing too, I had another thing. Oh. Can you tell it's like the first time I've even talked this morning? Hold on. The other thing I was going to say about questions. Oh, I don't know. It'll come up. It'll come up. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to hit it. All right, so somebody says, Pagerella33 says you're drowning. Okay, here's the thing. Yeah, it can feel like you're drowning when you have clutter, but what I want to reassure you with is that feeling of drowning. You may have a lot of stuff in your house. I don't know. But the cool thing is you brought the stuff got into your house somehow. That means there's an exit strategy too. You can get it out of your house as well. If you're feeling drowning, and this is the thing, I can only infer certain things from the words you use. Drowning to me feels like an overwhelming, like I'm drowning. Blah. As I said, I'm throwing you a lifeline, and this is something that will apply to everybody. Anybody, if you're ever feeling overwhelmed, not just with your clutter, this is where it goes from being a clutter coach to a life coach, is overwhelm just means that you are looking at things with too wide a lens, too big of it. Because I'm a road tripper, I have a map I can show you. Hold on. When you are overwhelmed, think of it this way, that you are here in Pennsylvania, because that's where I am. If you want to go to Palm Springs, California, because I love Palm Springs. You want to go there, you're all excited to, but then all of a sudden your brain goes, but wait a minute, you have to drive all this way. Overwhelm is looking at a place you're excited to go to, but then trying to look at the entire map and being overwhelmed with the enormity of what's around you. The opposite of that is chunking it on down now, okay? Chunk it on down into smaller bites. This is how I recommend all my clients start, is set a timer for 20 minutes, even when you're doing this. Here, that's what I was going to say too, is when I do these lives, you see what I look like. I don't really change what I look like. I just talk with my hands moving. I make point at things. You could easily get even more value out of this TikTok live if you put the phone down, or however you're looking at it. Put your phone down. You can still hear me because the value I give is what I'm saying and how you're receiving it. Put the phone down, stand up, and then for the entirety that I'm doing this is just walk around your room. And you know how to put some things away. So put the things away that have homes, and put things away. I talk about the 3 levels of clutter and chunking it down to help you from feeling so drowny. So just look at your clutter and say, okay, let me chunk that down. There's 3 categories of clutter she always talks about. And I do it like this because it's like a hierarchy. You get surface clutter, you get stored clutter, and you've got sentimental clutter. So just right now on this TikTok, put the phone down and start with your surface clutter. So what do I mean by that? Even if you just throw away the things that you know go in the trash, recycle the things that go in your recycle bin, put the things that you know have a home in your home and they're just not there in that room, put those away. If you just get up and you move and you do these things, whether you've set a timer for 20 minutes and you just do it then, or you use this TikTok live as an example of the power of just doing that. Put down the phone and start moving around and doing things. You will feel less drowny. It's almost like instead of drowning, you've suddenly learned that you can swim and you can do a little bit of things. Now, this may just be dog paddling, but it'll keep you afloat. And then when you do that, you're going to build your decluttering muscles. You're going to build your floating muscles. So everybody here, you can do this. The stuff came into your house. It can leave your house if you wanted to. If you struggle with the decisions, I can help make it easier for you to make those decisions. But ultimately, you're the one who makes the decisions, okay? And it can be cool because when you make decisions about the stuff that's in your life or what you don't want, you learn more about yourself and what you want in your life and your home, and more about what you don't want. So then you keep that stuff out, okay? Hope that helps. What else have we got? What's stuck in my brain, says Kaylin's Jima, only keep things that give you happy memories. Testify. Yes, Kaylin. Yes, 100%. Do not. Look around your stuff. Okay, everything in your house is whispering something to you. It's saying, pay this bill. It's saying, look at this award you got. It's saying, put away that laundry. It's saying, that's right, we got to go to the grocery store. That's saying, do the dishes. It's saying, hang up your coat. It's saying, this is that thing that somebody gave me that I don't really like, but I feel guilty about giving it away, so it's still here, even though I don't really like it. It's saying, oh, that's that thing that doesn't even work, but we haven't replaced it, so I'm just going to suffer through it. Pay attention to the stories that you hear in your head when you look at your stuff, and pay attention to specifically the ones that tell you something crappy and bad, and be curious about yourself. I come to everything with curiosity and compassion for you and for myself to say, why do I have this in my house if it's making me feel like crap in my own house? In my own house. And then find a way to release it. And here's how you release it. You just say, you know what, that lady who was on TikTok about Destination Decluttered, Beth said, I don't have to keep anything in my life that makes me feel bad. And, oh my God, if you just did that, how much better would your life feel immediately? Trust me, life is too short. I just did my morning walk in a cemetery today. I walk past funerals multiple times a week because of where I live, because I live near funeral homes. Life is short, people. Life is short. Don't get to the end of your life saying, whoa, did you just see that? Literally, the lights dimmed in our house. Wow. I'm going to choose to think that that was a message from somewhere that says, hell yeah, life is short. Go do your things, okay? Seriously. Wow, that was wild. And the fact that I'm videotaping this and I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel so other people can watch it. Wow. Thank you. Yep. Maybe it's just a loose light bulb, but I choose to believe it's a sign. Okay? Kat and the City says, how do you help a parent who is developing a slight hoarding problem? I am so glad you asked that, because a lot of what I deal with and help people with isn't just their clutter, but the clutter that's coming down the pike for them. The clutter that is their family clutter. And that is so good for you to notice that your parent is developing one. So maybe they haven't been that way all the way, but our brains change as we get older. What I would suggest, very first step is notice, regardless of your current situation with your family or how you get along with your parent, approach them with love and curiosity and compassion. And just say, hey, I noticed that your stuff's starting to pile up here. Is everything all right? And hear what their reason is for doing that. Maybe it's making them feel more secure because maybe they're forgetting where things are and they're doing that. Maybe they're feeling a little bit afraid of life and they're trying to make themselves feel better than buying things. But you can't know why they're doing it. You can't know why it's there until you ask them. And then if you are thinking it's a problem and they're thinking it's a problem, see if you can help them. If you don't know what to do, get in touch with me. I do some videos. I've done some videos on parental clutter, and I'm here for you for that. So if there's a specific thing, shoot me an email. I'll do a parental clutter video for that. I also do the one-on-one coaching with folks. The other thing I will offer too is that for everybody, if you've got parents that are alive and they may not want to deal with their clutter, you need to start thinking about it sooner rather than later about what you're going to do with their clutter. Because if they don't want to deal with it, you're going to have to deal with it regardless of whether they're alive or dead or in between. Okay? So get a plan in place so you feel okay with decisions, so you're not making decisions when things are getting stressful and griefy, when it's like you're reacting to stressors. Start now. It'll make it a lot better for everybody. Excuse me. Oh, I love this. Oh, here, see, a whole bunch of them scooted by. Somebody said, yeah, it's electricity. It's energy. It's all energy. Okay. Oh, so many good questions here. Oh, people, let me tell you, I am here to help you with all this because everything I see, I do these often enough that I'm like, oh, hon, my heart is going out to you. I love this. Paris, France. Both of my homes are clutter-free. Took a couple of years. So much more time for other things. Awesome. Thank you for giving a testimonial from the other side. Okay. I love this. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. As I said, I usually am here because I'm on the East Coast. I show up early in the morning. But I decided that I was going to do it a little bit later to say hello to my West Coast friends. Okay. So here's the thing that I was trying to get back to. Carla, Thomas, and TikTok. What if you have a lot of collectibles and you're over it? Where to start? I love that because I have collected stuff. I'm a collector around my house. There's actually a video on my TikTok page of some of the things I'm collected. just be cool with yourself that you're done with your collection. It was fun to collect it. It was fun to find it and be like, oh, look what I found. Oh, I added to my collection. Now I have more. Sometimes when we get the collection, then you're like, all right, now what do I do with it? It's okay to feel like that. I would say, see if your collection is worth anything to anybody. Sell it or donate it somewhere. So somebody else who's donating, somebody else who is collecting that stuff, you can add to their collections. Don't hang on to it thinking it's going to get more valuable or maybe you're going to fall in love with it again. You have to make the decision, but I'm just giving you the option that it's okay to have had fun collecting stuff. It doesn't mean you need to keep it for the rest of your life. I know it. I have collected things and I've let so many things go because I thought I wanted to start collecting something and I didn't. On the other hand, out in our living room, I have like over 100 tacky plastic snow domes from travels that I did in the 90s, and I love those because they crack me up. They're so not snooty, and they remind me of travel, and I remember when I was collecting them, and so those still bring me joy. So I put them out on display. So I hope that helps with that. All right, what else did we have here? I'm so glad you found the page too. I'm here. I do this all the time. This is what I love to do. I love to help people create order out of chaos. I grew up in a cluttered, creative house that I realized that there was like now I know about ADHD. We didn't know about it at the time, but parents that were busy. I'm a Gen Xer, so there was latchkey kid action happening, and parents doing their own stuff. And what I want to offer you is that I know what it's like to be in that situation. I'm not fazed by it. Every time I get a new one-on-one client, I ask them to send me photographs of like what we're working on, since we only work on Zoom. And they're like, oh my God, I don't know if you've ever seen it. And I'm like, honey, I am not fazed. And I don't judge because I'm here to help you, let's see what we got here. I love it that somebody is putting things away while I'm talking. As I said earlier, please put the phone down. I don't change. I'm kind of boring to look at after a while. Trust me, I've been doing it for 50 plus years. Put the phone down, listen to me, and go have a sense of accomplishment. Trash, recycles, put stuff away. You're going to feel so much better after. Like, how much better is it going to feel instead of sitting there just scrolling and what do I want to say? Like, just observing, that you're actively participating. You said, you know what, I'm going to get up and do something. It's a different energy. You would feel so much better about yourself physically and mentally if you put the phone down, listen to me, and declutter while I'm chatting, okay? Thank you. I love my glasses too. I need them all the time. Both of my homes, okay, we talked about that. Oh, funny. Did you get that TWA bag from eBay like 20 years ago? I didn't. I have one over here that I got at Joe Retro in Havre de Grace, awesome vintage store. This one I actually bought. This one is actually new. I had the ability, I love travel. I love mid-century modern, and I love staying in really cool hotels. That's my new thing now. In my bougie chapter, I'm calling it, to my husband. Because for years we would stay in little mom and pop vintage motels because I used to write about them all the time. Now I like to go to cool motels and hotels. And that one I got at the gift shop at the TWA Hotel at the JFK Airport in New York. It's a fabulous place. Go check it out. What do we have here? My husband parked a box at the front door. He loaded up, but I'm stuck. Okay, I don't quite get that, but I hope if it's a box of things that you're going to donate somewhere, just bring the donate thing today, okay? What else? Okay, Jeannie says, I'm a widow and don't want to give his things yet. It's been 3 years and yet feels like last night. Oh, hun. There's no time frame that's right for, like, your time frame works for you. If you don't want to give his things away yet, don't give his things away yet. I'm not going to push you. What I want to offer, though, and this is just a way to think about it, I'm just going to throw it out there. It's almost like I give you a seed to plant, and you can decide to plant it or water it if you want or not. Or I can throw it at you, and you can catch it and decide if you want it or put it down. I literally just did the last video I did on TikTok right before I hopped on here was from my morning walk, literally like for an hour ago. And I walked through a cemetery. And the message I kind of felt like when I was walking through and seeing all those headstones was, the people that are no longer with us are looking down on us and they just want us to be happy. They don't want us to feel sad and they don't want us to feel burdened, and they want us to go do what they can't do, which is live. And what I want to offer to you too is think about your departed spouse, partner, whatever, wanting you to just be happy. And if part of you is saying, yeah, it's time to let go of his stuff, please know, everybody, with sentimental clutter, when I talk about the 3 levels of clutter, we've got surface clutter on the surface. Then we've got stored clutter behind doors and drawers, as I like to say. But then the sentimental stuff is the hardest stuff to deal with because it reminds you of people that may be here and may not be. And just remember, the person does not live in the thing. The person does not live in the mug. The person does not live in the clothes. You could get rid of all of the physical items from that person and they would still live on in your heart. So the stuff is just reminders. Now, I know it may be difficult to go through the things because you're going to be sad because they're not there. And you're going to feel, when you go through sentimental things, one of the reasons we avoid that is because it's going to make us feel the feels. But what I want to offer to you too is there are more feelings when you go through sentimental clutter. There's going to be more feelings than just grief and sadness at their loss. You're going to remember the good times. You're going to remember things that you did together that you may have forgotten. Write those down, get a book, write them down so you can release the thing but keep the story. And know that you're going to remember some good times too. And it's going to be bittersweet, but life is bittersweet. We're all not here. And just do what's right for you at the time, okay? So when it feels right, honor that a little bit at a time. I always talk about chunking things down like a road trip, especially with the decluttering of sentimental items. Sentimental items and the decluttering of those have the most emotional impact. So they are going to drain you quicker than doing the decluttering that you're doing right now with your phone down. Like, honestly, when you are doing decluttering of sentimental stuff, you could put music on, but you really need to listen to what's going on in your head. You can't have me yakking in the background because you're going to be listening to yourself. So yeah, just know that do it a little bit at a time. It's going to be emotionally draining, but that's okay. Allow yourself time to recover and do it again. And nobody says you have to get rid of anything you don't want to except for you. So it's totally up to you. And I'm sorry for your loss. Jay, speaking of husbands, I get defeated when my husband is the messy one. It's hard to get started. Here's what I want to offer to you. Is everybody has their own clutter and stuff story. We all do. You have yours, your husband has his. We all came from different ways. There's different ways how we got to where we are with our own clutter. And what I want to offer too is work on your own clutter first so you understand what it's like to go through it. You can also be modeling good behavior, or this is what it's like to do your things. And then, much like I said about going to your parents who are struggling with clutter, is the best way to actually get to where you want to go to, which I think is like a decluttered house that you both live in, is approach the clutter situation that somebody, including yourself and other people, with curiosity and love and compassion in your heart. Be kind to yourself when you're saying, how the hell did I get here? Even this fact that when I say, how the hell did I get here? That's kind of judgy. It's like, how did I get here? Why do I have all this stuff? Peace and love, as Ringo would say, love and compassion. Do that with the other people in your home, Do it with your husband, Just, hey, why is this stuff? Let's just have a conversation. If you come at it judgy and, accusatory and combative, you ain't going to get far. So think of the long game. That's why, I can't even see my little thing. That's why when we do coaching, I'm always talking about the destination. I call my coaching Destination Decluttered. Remember what you're aiming for. If you're aiming to win a small argument and have things feel like crap, by all means, go at it. Be like, why the hell is this thing here? I mean, not to say that I haven't done that sometimes in frustration with my own husband, but I know that you get the response you want when you come at it from a different place, okay? So start with yourself, learn the skills, model the good behavior, get curious with him, and that's a good way to start, okay? How to let go of clothes that I like but I can't wear, they're the wrong size now. This is what I want to offer. First of all, there's no wrong size. So wrong is a judgy word, and all of us who own clothing and own bodies, we are constantly judging the size and shape and texture and quantity and quality of our bodies. I say this to me more than you, but I'm saying it to you too. We got to stop that shit. It just makes us feel like shit, okay? And pardon me, occasionally I will get impassioned by things and I will drop a potty mouth word. If that upsets you, I may not be the person for you. But what I will say this is, whatever size you are right now is fine. And if you want to keep the clothing that you're currently not fitting into because the clothing is smaller or bigger than the body you have now, and you are intending on wearing it in the future, this is what I would recommend. If you want to save it, you think you're going to get there, you just said how to let it go. Here's how you let it go, is realize that you, who you are right now, in the body that you are, deserves to have some awesome clothing that you look and feel good in. So letting go of the clothes, keeping the clothes that don't fit you just makes you feel like crap. Think of somebody else on the planet. Think of somebody else that when you donate those clothes that you like, that somebody else of that size is going to look and feel awesome only because you donated your clothes. Also, learn from the clothes that you liked, and if you like them, just buy them in another size. That's why they make multiple sizes, okay? But this is a good thing. Instead of thinking of what you're losing, I'm going to lose the clothes that I like because I'm the wrong size. Think of it from a different point of view. Like, I'm losing it. No, the other side is you're enabling somebody else to look awesome on the planet because you donated clothing that you know is cool. Hopefully that will help you, okay? I feel like this with the stuff the family has passed to me after they've passed. Yes. Here's the thing. We all, and you're already dealing with it, so my heart goes out to you. We live in a society, like it's just I can take the drama out of it. We are of an age. People are of an age. We have parents. We have family. Family has bought some stuff. It's like a math problem. They have a house full of 10,000 items. They pass away. That house needs to be emptied of 10,000 items. Where are those 10,000 items going to go? Unless you have a plan in place, oftentimes you're like, oh, I'll just bring it to my house and I'll deal with it later, or I feel guilty getting rid of it. That's where you get stuck. Okay? So what I would say is decide what feels right for you in your life right now that you're living, and do not feel guilty passing along the items that your family has passed to you. I will also offer this too. If you are a person of a generation that you got this stuff from your parents or your family, and you also have a younger generation, break the chains. Do not burden your kids with the stuff that you're burdened on. Let's break that cycle, okay? Do that. It'll feel better. Okay? Clean out other people's stuff, see what's left, get overwhelmed and have a hard time starting. Overwhelm means you're looking at it too big, my dear. Just look at it smaller, set a timer for 20 minutes, and do what you can, and know that every time, where's my little habit tracker? I just had it. Oh, here it is. Whoa. Every time you show up and you do 20 minutes of decluttering, even just little 20 minutes, you're going to make progress. Just show up every day and do it. I give tips and tricks. There's a whole bunch of videos on my TikTok right here that will help you get overwhelmed. Underwhelmed, not overwhelmed. Oh, underwhelmed, if that's a word. Anybody know what song I'm talking about? You might. Yeah, it can be really tough to get rid of this stuff. It can be, but if it's weighing down you and you're still alive here, I just want to offer. I'm not suggesting you do it. I never make somebody get rid of anything. But if you're feeling that stirring of, I think it could be time for me to lighten my load, honor that feeling and know that it's okay. Okay? What else do we have? Why won't my husband declutter the thing? Maybe he's the clutter. Okay. Yep. We got a whole bunch of questions here. Okay. Paralyzing, overwhelm, clutter. Overwhelm, chunk it down. That's what I'm offering to everybody. Yep. I still need to go to my parents' house and clean out my old room. Yeah, do that. Remind yourself of who you were the last time you were there and see how much you've changed. We as humans, we evolve. There are things that were important to us at a certain time that sometimes carry through our lives and sometimes don't. Revisit your past self and see how awesome you are right now. Okay? All right. Still salty. I'm here. I just started doing these TikTok lives. I really enjoy them. Next week, I'm not going to show up as much because I'm traveling, but I am recording all of them. So if you just got to me, if you go to my Destination Decluttered YouTube page, there's a whole ton of those. You can listen to those while you're also decluttering. I talk about, there's a lot of things that people think they are unique to them as far as clutter goes. I will guarantee, I will assure you that somebody is asking a question and I'm answering a question that somebody else asked, but it can help you. Okay? There we go. Setting a timer. Wisdom and love. Thank you. Seriously, here's the deal. I know that I have learned too late in my life that talking bad to myself inside and being judgy does not get me where I want to go to. I know that that doesn't work. I tried it. Oh my God. If negative self-talk inside me worked, I would be, well, I kind of am a rock star, but the only reason I'm a rock star in my own mind is because I stopped beating myself up and I started treating myself with love and kindness. The love and kindness I would treat other people with. And now that I realize the benefit of that, I am more mindful of the fact that you get so much more out of life and you do so many more things when you come at everything with a sense of love, with a sense of compassion and curiosity and kindness. That's why I'm showing up. I mean, I'm spending hours of my day today talking to people I don't know only because I want to help you. Because I know what it's like to struggle. And oh my gosh, like I read some books and I got some coaching and I had support and I have been on the receiving end of something that has made such a revolutionary difference in my life that I realize this is something I'm really good at and I can help people with. So that's why I put myself out here and that's why I do my coaching. Because I know what it's like to struggle and I know what a difference it can mean when you find somebody who kind of speaks the language you like. They're not too corporate. Like to me, it was like I was resistant as all get out for years to self-help because I couldn't stand the vibe I got from the people who were in that business. I heard one person on a podcast once, and she was funny and she was sassy and she said things. She explained it things in a way that clicked with me. I read her books. Holy Moses, changed my life. Jen Sincero. I am going to be coaching with her like in literally like an hour and a half. I'm so freaking excited. So I know the power of finding the right person to work with. That's why I call coaching is it's like a road trip together. Who do you want in your co-pilot seat? Do you want somebody who's going to be like, do it faster, longer, no, blah, or well, whatever. You've got to find the person that's right for you to be your co-pilot because this is going to be a journey. And I know it's so much more fun to be on a road trip with somebody who wants to make it fun and make it easy and celebrates what you did do and minimizes what you didn't do. And you learn about yourself so that when you get there and I get out of the car, you have the skills and you know how to talk to yourself nicely. Okay? Okay, this is a really good one. Marmal224 says, I keep stuff because I may sell it. How do I help myself with that? Here's how you help yourself with that. You and anybody else right now who has something that you're like, I may sell that may be worth something. After you get off this call, or maybe even right now, because depending upon what your technology is, today, do a Google search, do an eBay search, do an Etsy search, do a search of wherever people are buying things that you want to sell. Wherever you think you're going to sell it, go and see what people are spending for what you want to sell. And here's what I want to offer. Realize that the only thing you never get more of in life is time. Every time, you can't buy time. So really pay attention. And this is why I do decluttering life coaching is I really say, I just offer it to you to look at it to say, how much time are you going to spend doing that? And what is the result you're going to get for that? And what I want to offer is it takes time to list things and sell things. So the time you're spending in listing and selling things, just make sure that what you are going to get at the end is going to be worth your time spent. And to me, if I had something that was worth, I would probably say $75 or more, I might consider selling it online. Maybe. Hundreds of dollars, now you get my interest because that time spent is going to be worth it. But if it's something that's worth $10, $20, $30, $40, by the time I'm done listing it and stuff like that, I feel like there's better uses of my time on this one life that I have. So I have learned, even as a collector, as somebody who used to sell vintage stuff, I know there's stuff that's worth it that I have actively and knowingly put in a donation bag or I have donated to a place that I know is going to sell it. Because I have been on the receiving end of that stuff and I know what a cool thing it is to be out thrifting or looking at an online auction from my the historical society, the historical society in my town, to find what I call a diamond in the rough, to be like, oh my God, I can't believe somebody donated that. This is so cool. Now it's mine. I am providing that delight to somebody I don't even know. So think about that. Think about that when you are just looking at the stuff you want to sell. The other thing I will tell, 100% personal story from my own life from this past year. So I was helping my mom. My dad passed away 2010. And he loved to collect books. He did. And some of the books he collected, he spent money on, good coin. So we hadn't sold them because it wasn't right. We didn't feel like, it wasn't the right time. But last summer it became the right time to sell them. Well, I got to tell you, because the time that had passed, the audience for the books that my dad had spent a lot of money for has changed. And I reached out to some people that he'd actually bought books for and say, hey, we want to sell these. And they're like, nobody really buys those anymore. Nobody really buys them. So you were going to get pennies on the dollar. So that's why I say right now, look at the market for what you want to sell and see if it's something that people are buying. And then the last thing I will say about buying and selling and what things are worth, here's the funny thing. Oftentimes the older generations will hand down to you like the gold-plated china or the fancy glasses and things like that. Like, this is valuable. It may not be valuable. Go to like replacements. You'll see what they're charging, but they're not gonna Replacements Limited. They will not give you the money that they're selling it on retail, right? However, what do I want to say? Like the generations that handed down stuff they thought might be worth something in the housewares thing, we're thinking of the things that were in the dining room. And what I want to offer to you is the things that seem to be selling now are the things from the kitchen. So not necessarily the fancy china with the gold rim, but the Pyrex and the Corelle. So people decide on different things that they're excited to collect. So also look at the other things you have in your home and do a Google search and see if they're worth some money. And then see if there are people around you that are buying it. Okay? What else we got? What else we got here? Oh, that's funny. I gotta address this because somebody just said something about ADHD, and hells to the yeah, my friend, hells to the yeah. I grew up in an ADHD household. We have people that are diagnosed and being treated and undiagnosed and not being treated and a little bit in between. And the cool thing is the more I learn about decluttering, and especially honestly here on TikTok, the more I realize that so many people's, here's how I do it, is I probably have it. I don't know. But what I've done is I've designed a life and a way of working that allows me to do all sorts of awesome, cool things. So I offer to you, I don't judge anybody. I think what I do is I say, let's find a system that works for you and how your brain works so that you feel successful and you do more things. So yes, I have. I can't find your question, so I apologize. I can't hold you out. Ruby Red 343545, you send me pictures for help after this has happened, after you have signed up for a consultation, and we talk about what you're struggling with, and if I can help you. And then you get into a one-on-one coaching relationship with me. I coach one-on-one on Zoom for an hour a week for 10 weeks. That's my package. And I can tell you more about that when we are on a consultation. But honestly, we only even get to that part if it sounds like what you're struggling with is what I can help you with. I will never say I'm going to help you with something that I can't, but I need to know what you're struggling with so I can time. I love this. Andrea Downs just said, what do I do with grandma's china? Yeah, I would say, see if you can sell them. If not, see if somebody else in the family wants them. There may be a younger generation that it may not be the stuff you want, but they may be psyched about it. Okay? Oh, and my heart goes out to you, Annie, that you miss your mom. Yeah, our stuff is intertwined. Your dad, yeah, a lot of the stuff. There's feelings surrounding by our stuff, There's different ways you can do it. I feel like I'm a disappointment to my parents that have passed. Here's a fascinating thing. The only person this and that creation, tell yourself a better story. Here's how I do it. I felt like a disappointment to my dad for years, for decades. I don't think he meant for me to feel that way. That's how I was feeling about myself. I've healed myself from that. And I kind of hate that word heal because it sounds all self-helpy. But what I will say is I have decided that my dad, after he passed, got enlightened. He's up in heaven and he's like, oh, I get it now. I didn't see it when I was a human, but I see how awesome my child is and how she's doing things her own unique way. And I was trying to help her be something I thought would make her happy. I get it now. I didn't get it when I was on the planet, but I see that the best way that she can live the life that she loves is to do what she's doing. And so I'm encouraging her to no end. So create a better story in your heart, because that's the only place that story lives, and you can change it. Okay? What else do we have? Oh my gosh, there's so many things. I got this thing to you, which is, I gotta share. There's so many people and so many questions. I love this because this means that what I'm doing is helping you. And I want to help you, but I may not be able to answer all the questions because they zoom by me so quickly. So don't take offense. Do not be offended if I miss your question. What I will say is, if you want to, you can shoot me a message here on TikTok when you like my page to say, hey, I was curious about this. And then I can do a TikTok video, because if you're struggling with it, I can guarantee that somebody else on the planet is struggling with what you are. So me doing a video for you helps you, but you asking the question and me doing the video helps the world. Again, I love this because I'm all about that Fabergé organic shampoo commercial, because I'm a Gen Xer and I'm doing Duolingo for Spanish, but trust me, my fluent second language is pop culture. So what else do we have? I used to live cluttered, but changed habits and feel less stressed. See? So we have people who are saying from the other side, you guys, it's so much better when you're not cluttered and you change your habits and you're less stressed. What about kids stuff? That's hard for me. So Rachel Sajoka, pardon me if I'm mangling your name, but I just wanted to let you know. Kids stuff, it really depends on how old your kid is. And what I want to offer is this, is especially nowadays, that where we oftentimes, children even get overwhelmed with the sheer quantity of items in the home, sheer quantity of toys. We think we're being good by buying them everything they want, but they find that, like all of us, when we're surrounded by too much, we don't know where to start. So they kind of spend a little bit of time here, spend a little bit of time there. They end up being distracted. Fewer toys can be better. So if they are actively playing with toys, you can do it where 1 week you pull out some toys and then you put some other way. You can cycle them. I was an art history major, so I know all about like museum curation and things like that. So think about it. A museum doesn't always have all of its artwork out at once. So you could do a rotating gallery of the toys to let the kids play with. Also, kids are going to age out of toys, and it's okay for you to then donate them to places where kids of that age will get. Also, frankly, kids know what they like and they don't like. There are going to be some things that you bought, you thought they were going to play with, and maybe they don't play with them. And it's okay to release that. I will offer this too. I think it's really important to, no matter what age they are, to get your children involved with the decluttering and decision-making process, and the getting in the good habits from a little age to, this is just what we do in this house. We play with our stuff and we put it away. And it's not big and dramatic. It's just how we do it. Because then you are building children that are going to grow up into adults that just know how to take care of themselves and to pick up after themselves. And that is a really good life skill to have, that you are teaching your children. And while you do that, you're showing them that they are a part of the house and that they are contributing to the upkeep. It shouldn't fall just to one person in the household to keep all this stuff. That's an outdated, bullshit, patriarchal thing that I will always go back to. What I will offer too is, it is so much better for the other people that live in that home to feel like they are an active member of contributing to this. Because if you are unhappy because you're doing this all, the unhappiness radiates. If everybody's contributing, you're all going to get together a little bit better. I love that people have TWA bags. I have that, and I almost started a collection, but I had to stop myself. And even one of them I have that I'm not sure what to do. But I love travel, and every time I'm doing these, I remind myself that I love to travel, and it reminds me of what I'm aiming for, is to just travel more. Yep. Okay, what do we got thing? Huge box trailer. Thank you for all these things. Don't be disappointment. Quilt from shirts. That works. I had one of those done over here. I won't get it. You can trust me. And I use it for yoga. It works out really well. Let's see what else we have here. Let's see. ADHD ADHD people can't listen to themselves. It'd be a Goodwill buying picture frames. Yeah, I know. I have the ADHD people. I love you, and I'm one of you. So I get the brain. Let's work with what works out. I moved into my parents' house after they passed. I got 2 whole households in one now. All right, you know what? Make one awesome household just for you. Do that. Still need to go my parents' house. Yep, okay, we got that. Overwhelmed means you're looking at it too much. I'm not being dismissive. I just want to make sure I'm holding this. Okay, I'm so glad that people are digging this. As I said, I usually show up. I have only shown up for the decluttering, Destination Decluttered TikTok lives literally since the beginning of this month, because I want to reach more people, and I want to connect up with more people who I can help, either by doing this TikTok lives or one-on-one coaching. So I want to give you a flavor of what my wheelhouse is, what I can help you with, and how I do it, how I show up, how I explain it, how I'm dressed, how I talk. You know, I want to make sure that when you sign up for a consultation with me to do possible one-on-one coaching, you know what you're getting. I'm not anything but myself. This is how I show up. But I show up with love and compassion as your co-pilot to say, if you're here and you want to be there, I'm in your passenger seat and let's get there. Let's quiet down the backseat drivers so you can move on. And I'm championing you all the way. I've got the map. I have skills. I will help you solve problems, but I also teach you how to drive yourself. So when we are no longer coaching together, you have skills that you can teach other people and you will have for the rest of your life, you know? So there's that. Okay. Let's see. Yep. Adults with ADHD. Somebody, yep. See, sell stuff on, yeah, selling can be, yep. Yep. Good thing I noticed somebody, Alexis says, before I moved, I went through sentimental items and asked my kids when I would die, would you want this? Yes, please. Yes, please start this conversation earlier rather than later. It's going to be better for everybody. It's going to be better for everybody, for yourself, for your kids. Start these conversations when the emotional stakes are low, when you are healthy, when you are not, it's not a crisis mode. This is going to sound awful, but when people have dementia, people get dementia, and suddenly they aren't making decisions anymore. So while you are in a good state of mind and frame of mind, start it sooner rather than later. I am in my mid-50s and I am already I have decluttered my house to a point where I love what I have, but I've also made decisions on being cool with when I pass that my nieces and nephew aren't shouldered with my stuff, that they don't feel guilty about donating all of my things. I have a few scant things that I would like to have them pass on because it's family stuff. I'm not going to guilt them into it, but I have made a lot of those decisions beforehand, so it's going to be a breeze. It's the decision making, and that's why I can coach on Zoom with you, because it has nothing to do with me touching the items in your hand in your home. It's about the thought process in your head and what you want to happen with your stuff. Okay, JJ Meyer says they have a love-hate relationship with clothes. They are one thing I can't get to organized. Interesting. I love that. I look at clutter as a challenge and a curious thing. So what I want to offer to you is, if you said to me, can't seem to get it organized, here's a couple of ways to just look at your overwhelming clothing and break it on down now. One is you're probably wearing 20% of your clothes 80% of the time. If you weren't, you wouldn't be doing laundry, right? You'd just be wearing everything in your drawers. And then when your drawers are empty, then you do laundry. So look at the clothing you're not wearing. And does it fall into a certain category? Do I feel comfortable in it? If the answer is no, donate it. Reduce the clothing tends to be overwhelming when there's clothing that is in the clothing, like in the clothing theme, but you're not actively using it for what it is. So if it doesn't fit, if it doesn't make you feel good, donate it. If you have too many of things, here's a mantra I use when you're deciding on what to keep. I only deserve the best. Now I wear consistently. I wear long sleeve black t-shirts in the winter, and I wear short sleeve black t-shirts in the summer. Some of them I like better than others. I've bought them at different times. Some are longer, some are shorter, some are worn out, some's got a hole. If I was to want to go through and edit those, I would only pick out the best. So remember to only keep the things in your life that make you feel good, that make you look good, that you feel good in. And don't put sentimental clothing in the same place that your actual active clothing is. It's two different categories, okay? I hope that helps. Yep. Thank you for people for chiming in and helping your fellow cluttered person. That really helps when I can't sis. Declutter, but the spouse keeps buying more stuff that becomes clutter. Guilty of letting files go. Okay. Couple of things there is with spouses and with people that are spouses in houses, have an honest conversation with them. Ask them why they are buying that stuff. They may have a place in their heart where they're trying to fill a need, or they think it will be useful, or they forgot they got it. There's many reasons, but just get curious and without judgment, ask them why they're doing it. And you can honestly then say, hey, just so you know, it's kind of starting to stress me out that we have so much of this stuff. If your spouse, I would like to think, doesn't want you to be stressed. So maybe that's an opportunity for a conversation about it. Okay. As far as guilty of letting files go, this is really interesting because I got a comment on one of my, TikTok, not my TikTok lives, but my TikTok posts about filing stuff. And I will say this, with very few exceptions, the paper items that you are struggling to file in an organized manner are really just paper reproductions of something that exists already electronically. It wasn't always this way, right? So I don't think we've quite realized that we haven't updated our notion of what filing means to jibe with what really is going on in the current world. And in the current world, if you think about it, with the exception of very few things, and I think those are very few things, sentimental items, totally different. But when you're talking about bills, when you're talking about statements, when you're talking about, important papers, I can almost guarantee that there's an electronic copy backed up there. Think about it. Your credit card statements, you could download that again. Like you could ask them, oh, I don't have one. Whatever you're doing, just think about, is there a way that if I didn't keep this and I needed it, I could get in touch with who sent it to me and say, hey, can I have another copy? I mean, even death certificates. I've done this. I couldn't find my dad's death certificate. I didn't have one for my great aunt, and I needed them to help my mother with something. So I got in touch with the town hall in the town that they both passed in, and I said, hey, can I get a copy? And they said, yeah, it costs a couple bucks. They said, here's a couple bucks. Then I had it. Okay? So honestly, I don't like to this is the other thing too, and if you're looking for a one-on-one clutter coach, I may be your person. If you get to a certain point of decluttering and then the fine details get to be too overwhelming and you're like, oh, that's too fussy, as I like to call, too detail oriented. And what I want to offer with things that you are saving, paperwork that you're afraid to let go in case you need to look at it someday, is get one box, put 2023 on it, pay your bills, and then the things that you want to save, just put it in that one box. If you want to if you have a system that you're already organized for, and you just put your Pico bills one place and your credit card bills the other way, and there's something from the dentist here, use what works for you. But if you have no system at all, one really good system to start with is at least corral your important papers into one box. And then the fun thing too is when you do that, pay attention to when you actually go back and look at that stuff. And I will almost guarantee you that you don't go back and refer to it as often as you think you might. Now, I'm not saying go paperless, throw away everything. I also like a certain amount of comfort from seeing things on paper. I am Gen X, so I grew up in the paper world, but I am also very fluent in the digital world. But I have a system that works for me, and I like some things in paper. At the grand scheme of things, it literally takes up, for an entire year, it takes up maybe this amount of space in my life to have those papers, but it makes me feel good that I can open it up and be like, oh, that's how much we used on oil. Okay, let me go through this stuff. So don't beat yourself up about it. I'm not going to say go zen about it, but I also will say put your important papers in one place, put them in a box, and then just get in the habit of putting them there so that you know that if you want to go look at them, that they're there. Okay? Yeah, having a hoarding parent buying from auctions, she's having fun in the auctions and her brain is telling her she's going to do stuff, but if she's not doing the stuff, that can be an issue. So with love and compassion, maybe you can help your mother. Ask her if she wants help doing the things. She may not. Here's the thing. If you're a collector, you get a charge. You get a dopamine hit. You get a thrill it's the thrill of the hunt and it's the thrill of the find. It's like, oh my God, look what I just got. And especially if what I just got comes with that feeling of getting a bargain, right? I get that. I come from a collector, thrifter, antiquer family, and finding that stuff, it gives you a charge. But what happens is that charge is short-lived. That charge only happens during that. And you may get a little bit of a warm glow with it after you've gotten it. Be like, oh, got this thing. But then it starts to fade. And then you're like, oh, that fades. Yeah, now it's just a mug, right? And then you're like, oh shit, now I have that thing. Well, I'll sell it someday. I'll sell it. But the selling may not give you that charge. So just examine that with your mom and have that conversation and see if you can help her sell the stuff. That might be a fun thing you do together. I don't know. But maybe that will help. I hope it does. You gave thousands of dollars of books to libraries. I love it. Can I just tell you? Here's something that I often will say too, is for everybody, no matter what you have, if you're struggling to get rid of something, or when I say get rid of, I like to say pass along. Get rid of is kind of negative. If you're struggling to pass something out of your life, get something out of your life and away, is think about if you're hanging on to it because you spent a lot of money on it. Okay? And I want to offer this to you. There is a phrase, and his ears must be burning every day this week because this comes up in multiple decluttering things. Seth Godin has a little phrase that says, ignore sunk costs. And I have adapted that to myself to say, release yourself from the sunk cost. What this means is once you've purchased something, you will never get with very few exceptions, you will never get the money back that you paid for it. So I love the fact that somebody up Thread, and I'm sorry, these things are going by me too fast, so I didn't get your name, but you said you gave thousands of dollars worth of books to the library. So you knew that you spent thousands of dollars worth on those books, but you released yourself from that sunk cost and you were able to release them to the library. And then the library can sell them and get money back. We're going to do that when my mom passes. It won't be for probably another 30 or 40 years yet, but she has a wicked lot of books. I don't want them, and neither do my sisters. So we're going to have a big old book sale, okay? But it's important for my mom to have the books now, so I'm not about to try to scold her and change her. Let her enjoy the thrill of getting the book and thinking she's going to read it. And then she doesn't, and we can get rid of them when she's gone, okay? Okay, see, this is good. So some people who are of the organized mind are offering suggestions that work for them, being organized. And I love that because what they're saying is they have found a system that works for them in their brain. And what I want to offer to you too is if you don't have a system and you haven't, or you had a system and it didn't work, it's okay. It just, it hasn't worked for your brain yet. You haven't found something. This is one of the things I love, and maybe this is a good time to mention it, is I am of an age that I have many chapters in my life, and I've done a variety of things. I never wanted to have one particular career or have a boring job at a desk, so I've done so many things. But all of this expertise that I have culled from my decades on this planet, from being a visual merchandiser and a store manager at Pier 1 in Mikasa, to being a person who actively went and thrifted and sold items, to being a person who for years, yes, I did get into the corporate world, but I helped people and I mentored my teams, but I also helped solve problems when I was a process engineer. And the thing that I love about that, even though I kind of was resentful of that job at the time because I wanted to do something else, is the fact that I look at a system and I just get curious as to where it fails so that we can figure out how to fix it so it works for you. Okay? So I love that. Books, CDs, and DVDs. Lots of money spent. Yes. Y'all, we're on the planet. We're going to spend money on things and we're never going to get the money back. So if you're cool with that, then you can easily release yourself. If you're not, think of why you're not cool with that and heal yourself and just know that it's part of the process of being alive. Things, they create that obsolescence. We went from how what a rub is this? Seller 268. That we went from vinyl to cassettes and CDs, and now cassettes and CDs are old and now vinyl is back. Who knew? You know? The people who want you to spend money on stuff will make things purposefully obsolete and uncool so that you will buy the new things. And trust me, I am married to a musician. We have a ton of CDs in the basement because we both collected CDs. We also have vinyl. I went through mine and I culled mine out and I put a lot of them on my computer. Him, not so much, but we don't need the space and I'm cool with, I'm at peace with where they are now because they're not in the way. So find a system, don't beat yourself up about it. Don't beat yourself up about buying things and then realizing that you spent the money on it. Learn from it moving forward. You know, maybe you're not buying DVDs now because you're renting movies, you know. I get stuff out of the library all the time as opposed to buying the book. Excuse me. I should probably take a cup of tea because I've been doing this, for almost an hour. Oh, crap. Somebody said something froze up. Let's see. Yep, library didn't want mother-in-law nursing books. Yeah, I will say this. Some places don't want, what do you call it? A lot of people who have gone through like trainings and school will have textbooks that cost you a lot of money. Oh my God, I even remember this back in the 80s when I tried to sell my textbooks that were from one semester. It's like you paid $50 for it. They would maybe give you $5. It's just what happens. And it's, yes, sometimes... This is the other thing is, yeah, you may have to, at a certain point, nobody will want them. You may need to put them in a dumpster or a recycle bin. Just be realizing that it's part of it, okay? Yep, some people are giving their good advice. Holding on to these things doesn't value. I'm a mix of both, almost to both extremes. Collector organized, in OCD, and it's a chaos in my mind. Yes, and my friend, Leslie Clarkson, I will say this. I am so... I know that. That's why I coach on Zoom, because I know it's not the stuff. I don't need to be in your house to help you sort out the chaos in your mind. And what I will offer is this, is oftentimes it's finally slowing down the thoughts enough so you can pay attention to them. I call it slowing your roll. I have this fun little thing that I do with my clients is just listening to them, sorting them out, slowing them down, and then being curious about them, and then making the decisions from those thoughts that are going to lead you to the life you want. It can happen. It can happen. My mind is so much less chaotic now. And when I get good ideas, I know how to capture them, so I'm not trying to hold them in my head. I have them someplace where I can look at them. I have found a system, and I teach it too, that works for the way my brain works, so I don't feel chaotic. And it feels so good. Okay? What else? Oh, Seth phrase. Thank you, Buttercup. I'm going to... Okay. Oh, I love this because I'm going to do a riff. I'm always like making up jokes and making things easy to remember. So the Seth phrase, Seth Godin says, ignore the sunk costs. The Beth phrase is release the sunk costs. I am aware that the words that we use have different feelings and flavors. And I like the thing where it's like, you know what? Don't beat yourself up. Don't ignore it. Ignoring means it's there and you're not dealing with it. Like, to me, release the thoughts. I have had a hard time doing this myself, but I realize at a certain point, it just brings me down when I beat myself up over I spent money on something that didn't work out. I thought it didn't. Like this room right here, when we were doing it over years ago, when we first moved in here, the guy at the rug store convinced me to buy like a cushion for it underneath because we have hardwood floors underneath. And he's like, oh, if you had to have hardwood floors, the piece of rug is going to, rough it up. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. We just did the hardwood floors, but I want a rug. So I bought the rug mat, right? Brought it home, put it down, couldn't use it because it was so thick, the doors wouldn't even open. Oh my gosh, I felt so bad. I was like, I just spent good money on this and I can't return it because it was custom, but I had to release that. And it was cool because my husband didn't beat me up. He's like, you know what? It's cool. Don't worry about it. I don't remember what we did with it. Hopefully we used it for something, but we may have actually even ended up just throwing it away at a certain point. And it's a tough thing, but just know that it happened in your past. It's going to happen in the future. And just realize it's just part of the process of being a human. We buy things we think are going to improve our lives. And sometimes those things work and sometimes they don't. And hanging on to the ones that don't work because we spent money on them doesn't make them suddenly be able to work. Now, you might hang on to it for a little bit to maybe do it, align it with somebody who could, but at a certain point, if it's weighing you down, the best thing you can do for yourself is learn from that experience and, get it out of your home, okay? Cleaned out closets. Oh, I love it. I love that I am inspired you for cleaning out the closet last weekend, the weekends. So organized at work, but cluttery or messy at home. Of course we are, because we have external accountability. But we're inside, we realize that we are kind of messed up. Like I messed up, I mean messy, not messed up. It's fine. You're not alone. Whoever said that, that's so true. I just did a consultation with somebody who said it's so crazy because my husband works for a company where he works for like a place where he needs to tell people to be neat and orderly, and yet our house is a hot mess. Yeah. Moms die and people put things in the dumpster. That can be a tough thing, but then at a certain point, you're like, you know what? I just saved myself all this decision making. The decision making is the stuff that we also will wear us out if we don't do it. I grew up without much, and now I have much. And see, here's the funny thing. We don't grow up with a lot, so we think that a lot will help us, and now we're realizing that instead of lighting us up, it's weighing it down. I love how you have that insight, Jez 0507. Okay, you don't know where to start. Start with the stuff that you're not digging anymore. This might be a good opportunity for me, if I can find it, to introduce something that I do with my coaching clients. Everything I do, I frame in the way of like travel and road tripping, and you're in your car. You're in your car, right? And so I use that because I was just going over my paperwork. I was updating it. Where do I have it here? Okay. This may help people when you're wanting to figure out how do you feel about your stuff, is what I call your internal traffic signal, okay? Traffic signal, right? Traffic signal. This is a little bit different. Usually at home, in the real life, you see the red one on the top. I flip it around here because your internal traffic signal, you've got your heart up here, which is, yay, I love this thing. This is so cool. Oh my God, this is cool. I love it. Green light in your heart. Yay, go, keep, love. You've got the other side down here, kind of like where your belly is, maybe below your belly, maybe where your poop chute is. I don't like that. It didn't work. It makes me feel like crap. It's a piece of trash. Whatever. You can poop that stuff out. That goes in the trash. The stuff that usually jams you up is the stuff that's in the middle. what I call yield. This is where I like to quote the Clash. Should I stay or should I go now? Like, I don't know. Should I speed up or should I slow down? Should I keep it? Should I not keep it? This is where we will spend most of our energy in the decluttering. But to start with, if you're overwhelmed to start, just pay attention to what the thing that you pick up, where does that hit you in your body? And if start with the crap, the literal and metaphorical crap. Start with the stuff that you're like, nah, I don't want that. The easy decisions, because that will reduce the sheer volume of stuff you have. And then pay attention to the stuff that you really like. And then you have a pile of stuff that you're like, I'm not sure with. And that's a way to get you started, okay? Allie, very cool of you to help a friend who is a hoarder. That is awesome, and I'm glad I can help. If there's anything else I can do to help you guys, let me know. If there's specific things, shoot me an email. I can do that. That is so cool. It is so good to get help. If I can be your help, I am here for you. I work on Zoom. This is so cool. I have clients in like multiple states now, which is really fun. And what I want to offer, though, is if you have a friend who loves you and is not going to be judgy and bitchy. I was on a consultation with somebody who was like, yeah, my daughter helps me, but she makes me feel like crap the whole time because she's being mean to me and it makes me feel worse. Like, no. Don't get those people to help you. Find a friend, find somebody who loves you and is just curious and wants to help you and won't be judgy. If you don't have that, I can help you with that, okay? We have to be able to laugh at ourselves. Yeah, we do, or else we cry. I get anxiety thinking someone will have to go through all my stuff. All right, so you know what? Turn that anxiety. Anger is an energy, okay? As Johnny Rotten said, use that anxiety to motivate you to go through your shit right now so nobody else has to. Can I talk about cords? If you mean like tangled cords and stuff like that, straighten them out. I don't know. Cords get tangled. That's more of an organizing thing, I will say. Yeah, I can't really help you with that. How about How about the kids' artwork that we don't want to throw out? I love that question because this is an example of I am saving something ostensibly for somebody else, but really myself. So what I would offer is this. Sometimes using a specific container of a certain size helps you control what you're saving and what you're not. So what I would offer is get one of those like plastic clear totes from like Target. This is where that's where I get my totes. Make sure it's clear and make sure it's like, kind of one of those ones that's like a decent size. And say, this is where I'm putting all the sentimental items for this one child. And put the stuff in it. And when it gets full, then you and the child, no matter what age they are, go through them and see if they want to keep it, right? Because if I'm not wrong, I'm thinking that you're keeping this stuff because you think they will want it when they are older. They may not want it. I've seen it happen and it's okay. But going through the stuff that is saved with that person creates a memory of that. All right? I talk about my fee. I do charge for my services when we do one-on-one coaching. I provide lots of free information right here on TikTok on these videos. These videos are pretty much little snippets of what we would just kind of put together in a design for you. And I work with a 10-week program that I show up once a week just for you on Zoom, and we work specifically for you, and I do charge for those services. If you feel like you can't afford it, whatever the price is you think, everything I would offer to my clients in a condensed, this is just for you form is available here on the TikTok for free, and even on my YouTube page where I record these TikTok lives and put them there so you can listen to them and get motivated. That's why I feel so good about charging for just the specific things for one-on-one people, because I also know how important it is for people to say, I have skin in the game. If you don't feel like you have that capability, I'm not going to convince you to pay for my services. However, I know you'll get a huge amount of value from it. But if you're at a point when you can't right now, all of the quality that I offer is here on the TikTok page, okay? I hope that helps you. Solution for boxes of pictures and slides. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so here's what I want to offer from that. And excuse me, I just rolled over something on my thing. Okay, so pictures. Okay, this is what I want to talk about for pictures. It's really interesting to look at the history of photography and realize that at certain generations, not too far ago, if you were lucky to have one picture of one generation or a couple of handfuls of little black and whites, you were lucky. Nowadays, you could probably create a flip book. But what I would offer is this. Think about the pictures you have and pretend that 100 years from today, what are the pictures that the people in your family for historical purposes would want to see? They probably don't want to see all your millions of, doubles of snapshots of when you went to Palm Springs or, you went to, whatever, Disney. So curate what you're saving. Make sure you don't save any pictures where you look like crap. Make sure that future generations, that you're representing you in your life in the best way possible for future generations. You can get things digitized. You can take pictures of things. I would say this. The one thing I will definitely say is when you have those family photos, those kind of archival photos of that are just the one-offs with that, I would digitize those so you can share them with other parts of the family. But keep those in like an archival box. Those are really cool to keep. But pretty much any modern snapshot, keep one of them. Really go through them judiciously and only keep the good ones. Okay. Here's a couple things. See, I told you the people you're saving for might not want it. Honor what they say. When your son said he threw it all away, that's fine. You thought he might want it. He didn't. You live and learn. Same thing with the daughter. That's fine. People may want to be having that stuff. They may not want to. You had a good intention in your heart when you did that. The other thing too, somebody says, do I do home visits? I do not do home visits. No. I work with you one-on-one on Zoom because here's the thing. I don't need to be in your home to know what's jamming you up. And I don't need to be in your home to help you think through it, because it's not about me cleaning up after you. It's not about me it's about you learning about what thoughts you have in your head. And this is why I call myself the Decluttering Life Coach, Beth from Destination Decluttered. Decluttering Life Coach, because it's about the thoughts you have about the stuff you have. And the thoughts you have are either keeping you cluttered and stuck or getting you moving and not being cluttered. So when we deal with your thoughts and create a map of what are some actionable items you can do, I don't need to be in your house to do that. When we get in the one-on-one coaching and you pay for it, you send me pictures, we mark your progress, we get into a relationship. It's like I'm in the car with you for 10 weeks and we're driving just to where you want to go. Okay? Yeah, I would say artwork, you can take pictures of them if you want. But yeah, also realize that even when you're creating books of items, that your kids are going to have to decide, do I want to keep this book or not? So just get curious about it. Really have a conversation with the person you think you're saving it for, and just be real with them. Like, do they want it or not? And if they say no, honor that, okay? Yeah, and you tossed it out together. Yeah, have that fun. I will say this. I have had a lot of fun. I went through my things. I actually had a clutter client who was my same age, and we kind of did the same thing. Where, like in this closet back here, I don't know if you can see it. There's a closet in my office, and that has got a bunch of plastic totes. I got the narrow ones because I wanted to organize things. But I went through a lot of the, like back in the 80s and 90s, you would get like doubles of your pictures. I went through and got rid of all the doubles. I also started sending pictures of people that I had that were just them. I sent them to them so they would have them for their archives, especially people with children, that I would have goofy pictures of my friends at a certain age. I don't need those. I know what they were like, but their kids may not, and their kids may get a hoot. That's what Dad looked like when he was, 18 or something. So share the pictures. Take snapshots of them when you're going through them, and just send a crappy snapshot to your friends and be like, oh my God, remember this party? It can be fun. It can be fun. Okay, so this and that creation. Really good question. Do you deal with hoarding? And what is the difference between clutter and hoarding mind-wise? I love that you said that because that's really important. Hoarding is an actual medical diagnosis in the DSM-5. And this is something where it is usually trauma-based, where somebody has had something bad happen in their lives, and the way they are trying to cope with it is by surrounding themselves with stuff. They are kind of creating a bunker. They are trying to make themselves feel better by surrounding themselves with things. And hoarding is when it gets to a point that it can be dangerous to their physical health. It can get to a point when they're not moving around. Like when it gets to that crisis situation, I will be honest, I am not a licensed medical, professional to help deal with those things. That is why to even start to do a one-on-one coaching thing, I always do a 1-hour consultation where I find out what's going on with the person. So if it sounds like it's a hoarding thing, I will never try to help somebody that I feel like needs to get, I will do my best with what I have, but I also don't want to overpromise and underprovide. If I learn of somebody who has that hoarding, I will recommend with kindness and compassion for them to get help with that. Same thing with ADHD. When I get people who are like, I think I have ADHD, I should get diagnosed, I will say, yeah, get diagnosed. See if there are other modalities that can help you in conjunction with this. I can help people with those things when they also have the external support that really goes with that. Clutter is usually just folks that are not trauma-based, or they are to a bit, but it's not like at a crisis situation, that you have thoughts in your head that are keeping you from releasing the things, but then once you examine the thoughts, you can release things more easily. Also, a lot of clutter is just, seriously, it's just habits. It's just habits you get into. You know, I got in the habit of just bringing in my mail and putting it down wherever there was a place. Or I just got in the habit of letting the dishes pile up and only dealing with it when it got a pile. That's what I find is fascinating. A lot of this, when you think of it, much of it is not dramatic. So we can deal with that. When you get curious and say, oh yeah, you know, the reason I keep on losing my keys is because I don't have a place that I always just put my keys. And then I get in the habit of always putting my keys here. And seriously, I will say this, when you sign up for my email mailing list, I send you a habit tracker. This is the one that's blank. You get a blank one to write in your own stuff, like eating more water and taking steps and vegetables and all that. But the other one has 10 easy peasy things that you can just check yourself every day that, like, did I put my keys where they were supposed to go? Did I, put my purse where it was going to go? Did I, all these little tiny things that you don't think add up, but they do. And when you remind yourself of it, even for just the 30 days, this is like a thing you can print out for like a month. Even for 30 days, that allows the things that used to not be habits to then pave a new neural pathway, a new highway, as it were, to get you so you just do it. You don't have to think about it. There you go. Somebody just said, I just put 4 things on local Facebook free cycle book. Thank you. You are welcome. Where do you sign up for my email? So awesome question. So you can go to my TikTok page. Please like my page. That would be awesome. But I think there's a link right there that says destinationdecluttered.com/join. You go to my website and it's just a page where you put your email in and automatically you'll get an automatic email that has these 2 PDFs attached, and you can print them out for the rest of your life. I use these every month. Okay. And getting reminders of these really good habits. That's why I show you the one I use, because I need these myself. This is so interesting. You say you need the reminders. Is even when you know they're good, your brain may work where it just forgets these things. Right before I got on this, I realized when I looked at my own system, how often I myself have been able to do so many things repetitious-wise because I have ways of tracking them that remind me to do these things, that somehow 1,000 days in for me doing my Duolingo, I'm always like, oh my God, that's right, I got to do it. But because I at least get that spark, I remember to do it and I have my streak going. So later this afternoon, I'm going to post a video all about how to measure and keep track of some of those things that maybe your brain just always kind of forgets you do. There's ways you can work with your brain that work really well. Awesome. Some things do become automatic, and some things may not become as automatic. And that's okay. It all depends on how your brain is and if you've got a system that works for you. Usually, sometimes people will need visual reminders. So for example, I was talking about Duolingo. What I do on my phone is I have the app for that on the front page, and I have it enabled to get me that little like red circle that when I look at my phone for something else, because I'm like you, I'm always on my phone. I'm like, every time I'm like, oh, that's right, I got to do it. Oh, that's right, I got to do it. And then by the end of the day, I find myself doing it. When my life was less cluttered during COVID, I did have more of a routine. I'm like, every time after dinner at 7 o'clock, I'm going to do my thing. And I got into that for a while, and then I fell out of the habit. But I found myself being able to still do it and maintain my streak just by what I have going on now. Your ways of doing things may shift and change, especially with the busyness. Like I do a daily walk and I like do it. And I used to try to get 10,000 steps in. Now I'm doing these TikTok lives for, 1 hour, hour and a half, 2 hours every morning sometimes, or I have been, not to say I always will, just saying. But those are using up time that I normally would walk. And then I get into the time where I need to do things. So your life is always changing. And what I will offer is that allows you to readjust and say, okay, what is the good habit that I used to have that I want to carry forward, and how can I get it into my life? Okay. Thank you. I try to encourage people because I know how much of a difference it is when you've got somebody in your life saying, you got this, you can do it. And I know that because for decades I did not have that. And I know that I did certain things on my own, and I did some cool stuff, don't get me wrong. But now that I have people in my life that are like that, but especially because I have a me inside me that talks to me like I'm talking to you, when my co-pilot next to me can quiet the kids in the back seat who are the ones that are talking the negative talk, when my co-pilot can easily calm those kids down and just, we have this, all right, what are we going to do today? What are we going to do? I don't know. I've never done that. I don't know. You can try it. You have that nice rapport inside yourself. Oh my God, you are flying down the highway towards the life you love when you quiet down the negative talk in your head and you allow space for your co-pilot, that good part of you, to give you that encouragement you need internally. Externally, I model that behavior so you get the flavor for what it would be like to do that. For 10 weeks you get me in your life like that, or longer. People often will, buy blocks of coaching because they love that idea of somebody only there for them. Like, how cool is it? I get a coach and she encourages me to do stuff, and I do stuff, and it's great. I have a coach. Some people dig that. I'm here for you with that. So yeah, I try to show up to help you get to where you want to go to. If beating yourself up worked, your life would be kicking ass right now, and you wouldn't even be watching this because you'd be out living a kick-ass life, not saying, how do I get decluttered? So I offer you, there's another way. And it's quieting the beating up voices, understanding where they come from, and then deciding to create some new voices and learning to speak a new language to yourself, which is of love and compassion. And let's do this before we die. Okay. I love this. Grocery Store Glam just said, I've been working on the floor of my closet. Looks so much better. Thank you. Okay. So here's the deal, folks. I need to stretch a little bit, but I am going to do this. I'm going to be on for like another half hour. I showed up late today. Late. I say late because I'm on the East Coast, but I showed up at this time today because I realized when I show up wicked early in the morning for the East Coast that West Coast folks may not even know who I am. So I am Beth. My clutter coaching, my decluttering coaching is called Destination Decluttered because I love to travel, and I know the importance. I know how it feels to fall in love with a destination you want to get to. You're going to be so much more likely to make things happen when you're in love with a destination. And what can I say? I'm going to be on for like another half hour or so. What is the app with? The app with the little dot. Oh, that's Duolingo. It's what I use for practicing my Spanish because I started that during COVID, and I want to keep my brain active. So, all right, what do we have? That was the other thing I was going to remind. Yes, I love that Alexis and Juan Josh says, putting every item in its home is very satisfying to me. I love that feeling too, and I love that you are showing people who are struggling with clutter that putting things away can feel so good. I swear to God, like that, I'm of an age that every time I say feels so good, I get that Chuck Mangione song going through my head. And I crack myself up, because I often do, because that's how I like to live, with like a lighthearted, heart. What do I want to say? Someone was going to say, this is where my distracto brain gets in. Oh, shit, no, that wasn't it. Oh, it'll come to me. Encouragement, doing this stuff, doing the thing. It's all good. If you have any questions, let me know. Favorite closet organization items? Jen, I will be honest with you, and this is interesting because a lot of people have asked me, I keep it as simple as possible. You can overcomplicate. Things can be overcomplicated, and I will offer this. Sometimes they can be overcomplicated because it makes you buy things. People make it seem more complicated than it needs to be. I got a closet here that I've got clothing in. I literally have some hangers and a pole. And it's an old-fashioned thing, so it's like I've got a box on the top shelf, and I've got a couple of plastic totes. That's about it. I got these cute hangers. I'll show you my hangers actually, because this is how I'm a collector. So I will say this. So yeah, these are the hangers I have. when I used to go out thrifting and collecting, I thought these were also awesome. They're just, somebody did something neat with an old-timey wire hanger, and so I started finding these, and I love them, so this is what I use. And the fact that I have an empty hanger, I have multiple empty hangers in there because I have culled through my clothing and only have what I want, and I'm actively like looking for stuff. So keeping it simple. The other thing I would mention though too is if the logistics, if how your closet is laid out does not work for you, I would examine finding a way that does. And I say that because in this room, what I have works for me. It's fine. It's low key. But in our bedroom, we live in a small old house. It was built in the 50s. And the bedroom had like these two little small closets that had like this no man's land of like wall in between them. And it looked junky and whatever. So at a certain point, we researched it and we had somebody come in and put a like a whole IKEA thing in the wall with a sliding door, and that enabled us to get rid of a bureau that we didn't need anymore. So I will offer that, like, keep it simple, use what you have, and then once you've sorted your things, see how you can make it be that it's easier for you. But I always err on the side of getting it organized, getting it sorted, and keeping it simple. I don't want you spending your days alphabetizing your sock drawer or folding your underwear into nice little things. Ain't nobody got time for that. I want you out living your life as opposed to folding your drawers in your drawers, okay? So I love this. Somebody says, been using a dollar store kitchen timer set for 30 minutes at a time to declutter. Rock on. That totally works. That is a measurable unit of time that gives you that dopamine hit when you've done it. You can say, I did it. You can pave yourself day. You can reward yourself. You say, I'm on my way. And then the next day you do it and you're going to be spot on. I use the timer on my phone because here's what I found out about myself is I found that when I was using a kitchen timer, I had one of those cute like Lux ones, like those vintage ones, that tick, 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 tick sound was stressing me out. It was like a bomb was going to go off. And so I realized it was better for me to use a timer that was silent so I could get in the zone and think about things. And then when it goes off, I'm like, oh, 20 minutes has already passed. I can continue if I want, but I've already hit my 20 minutes, you know? I would say this, Jen, or anybody who is struggling with closet stuff, this is my mantra for when we talk about, and this may be a good opportunity for me to remind you of what I call the hierarchy of clutter. You've got your surface clutter, because you've got your surface clutter, you've got your stored clutter, and you've got your sentimental clutter. So with your stored clutter, so things that are behind drawers and doors, you know, bureaus, cabinets, drawers in the kitchen, drawers in the bedroom, you gotta sort it before you store it. Write that down, hashtag that. It's gold, Jerry, okay? You got to sort it before you store it. Once you sort it, you will know what kind of room you need for the stuff you have, okay? And if the container is too, like, if you have too much stuff for the container, you can either expand the volume of the container or you can decrease the amount of stuff you're putting into it. But use that kind of measurement as a unit of measure to say, is there something, am I still trying to keep too much? Somebody mentioned, which was kind of fun because Tammy Faye, I kind of loved her back in the day, and I still, a 2,200 square foot walk-in closet. But I bet she was even like, I'm kind of overwhelmed with the stuff I have. Like, the more space you have can be awesome, but it also can enable you to, unbeknownst to yourself, collect a whole much more things, many more things, that when you look at it, you're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. That, I think, is the appeal of that tiny house trend, is you really need to be mindful about what you bring in and what you bring out. Big houses and big closets allow you a lot more leeway of not having to make decisions of what you have. And the decisions, I will offer to you this, when you begin to make decisions about your stuff, you are making decisions. Every time you do that, you're building the muscle that says, this is what is important to me. This is me, who I am now, and who I want to be. And when I say yes to this dress and I say no to that dress, it means that I have found out something about myself, that I'm showing up and keeping the stuff that does as well, you know? Not me Googling appetizing socks, yeah, well. Getting the same socks, same color, I do the same thing. Funny thing is about that though, even then when you wash them, sometimes some of them shrink differently, but I try to get over that. But yes, I buy multiples of the same boring stuff because some people like shopping. I don't enjoy it. I want to cover my body with clothing that I'm comfortable physically in and comfortable that I feel like I look fine in. And then I go off and I live. I do stuff. Okay? Yep, the timer is an ADHD thing. Don't set it for 15. Yep, 50, whatever works for you. I say 20 minutes because 20 is a nice time to get you in the zone that if you have more time, that you can actually then kind of stay there in that nice groove where you're doing stuff. If you only have 5 minutes, a timer with 5 minutes, a timer with 10 minutes, a timer with any kind of minutes is better than not showing up at all. Don't punish yourself. Just say live and learn. I got more stuff done than I did when I was started. Okay? Yeah, see? Dopamine hits. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we do. All right, what do we got? Got rid of our junk drawer in the kitchen and made an organized candy junk drawer. That's cool. God, if I had a candy drawer, I would be having to buy bigger drawers. You know what I mean? The drawers down here. I often joke that I went to the Fozzie Bear School of Humor. So when I do Waka Waka, that's pretty much the level of the jokes that I have. What do we got going on here? Okay. Thank you for loving my glasses. I've had to wear glasses I've had to wear glasses since junior high. Had I worn them back then, I might have been a better student, but live and learn. I don't go to people's homes. No. So what I do, Maureen, thank you for asking, because that will give me an opportunity to just introduce myself and tell people what I do. I'll be on here for about another 20 minutes or so, because then I have something to do at noontime Eastern. So my name is Beth. I am on the East Coast. I am a decluttering life coach, and I call my coaching Destination Decluttered. And I say that because I love road tripping, I love travel, and I know what it is like to be someplace you don't want to be and be someplace you do want to be, and I help you get to where you want to be. Now, I do this on TikTok. I do this. I have a mailing list, an email mailing list that if you go to my website, destinationdecluttered.com/join, you can sign up for my mailing list. You'll get one of my habit trackers that I'm not just, not just a guy, I'm a client, right? Am I right, Cy Sperling? I use myself. You also get invited when you're on the mailing list to a members only Zoom that I do once a month. It's going to be next week, next Tuesday, where we do this same kind of thing, but we show up on Zoom so you can actually ask my questions and we can see each other. The other thing I do is I don't go to people's houses, no, because I don't need to be in your house to help you change. I don't need to be in your physical space to transform your life, because what we do is we talk about the thoughts in your head that are causing you to hold on to the stuff that you don't want. And then we create a map. You say, you tell me where you want to go. We say, okay, what are the milestones on the way there? How can we break down that big journey into smaller bits? And accountability, I give you tons of tips and tricks because I know how to declutter. Anything from you got to store it before you store it to you only deserve the best to like items together. At the end of the 10 weeks, you're going to be not only just less cluttered in your life, you're going to be less cluttered in your mind. And this is the thing that I think is so effing awesome about it, is that you will have learned skills to not just declutter your home, but you can apply those skills to any area of your life for the rest of your life. You will be saying to yourself, do I want this in my life? If I do, I'm keeping it. Do I not want this in my life? Am I not keeping it? Do I want that person in my life? Do you want that opportunity in my life? Is that opportunity going to lend me to the life I want, or is it going to keep me stuck? All of the things you learn about how to declutter your home can be directly applied to other areas of your life. And that's why I call myself the Decluttering Life Coach. If I was just fine with you getting your sock drawer organized and your place looking nice in case HGTV happens to stop by, that's cool. Many people do that, but I think it's so much better to learn about yourself while you're doing it. Why did I save this? Why am I having a hard time letting go of this thing? Why did I buy that? And then you learn from it, and then you can make a better decision that aligns with who you are now, and especially who you want to be. You know, we are here at our lives. We've done certain things to get ourselves here. Like this dot in the, this is where you are now. See this little pin? It's like a Google pin. You got a Google pin right here. You got here somehow, but you have your whole life. You still have your whole life ahead of you. You can be consciously choosing and creating the life you want, and you can start practicing that by consciously choosing the stuff that surrounds you in your life. And I say, choose the things that light you up and make you the best self, and eliminate as quickly as possible the things that don't serve you. Because then all you will have, I always say this, it's like weeding your garden. Get rid of the weeds, all you're left with is the flowers, okay? And see, I love that you love yourself as you are, has a system that works for her or them. It says, every 2 weeks I invite friends over, so I have to keep at least that much control to clean and clear. Yes, isn't it interesting how external accountability will allow us to do things that we may not do for ourselves? That's why I show up in your life as your one-on-one coach every week. And especially because I know what it looked like before and what you said you were going to do. And you said, yeah, I can do that. We make sure it fits with your schedule and your time so that when we get off your call, you feel good about what you'll be able to accomplish between calls. And so then there's this expectation, and people send me the after pictures. So I know if they've made progress or not. And if they haven't, I don't judge them. We get curious and find out why you didn't make it so that we can make better progress moving forward. Live and learn, live and learn. That's all we ever do is live and learn, okay? I will be on for like another 10 minutes. I will be honest, I have been sitting here for like an hour and 45, and my old body gets creaky. Yeah, and here's the funny thing. Somebody says, picture myself panic cleaning the night before they come over. How about a life where you don't even panic clean? Trust me, I know what it's like beforehand. This room you see right here, like here, it's pretty damn clean. It's wicked clean, and it stays that way. It wasn't always this way. This used to be what we would call the pitch and ditch room. When we had people over, we would shove everything in this room and shut it and say, please don't come in, while we were panic cleaning. But when you learn how to declutter your brain, and then you declutter your home, and you learn how to stay decluttered, it's a game changer because you're not panic cleaning, because you never allow the stuff to build up to the crisis situations. It's a lovely feeling. It is so cool to just walk into your house. Maybe nobody's coming over, but you walk into your house. And when you walk into your house, do you say, yay, this is so cool, I love it. Or do you go, oh my God, I have so much to deal with. Maybe I'll just stay out of the house longer, right? You want to feel good in your home. You want to feel good in your body. Yeah, trust me, pitch and ditch room. We are all, anybody who's dealt with stuff and clutter and things, which is like pretty much all of us, except for, people who, I don't know, just don't, whatever, boring people. Yeah, it's where we have too much stuff. We have stuff we thought was going to add value and joy to our lives. And it either didn't and we don't know what to do with it, or it does and we don't have a place that makes sense to put it away, and then we don't have the habits that make us put it away. It's pretty simple. It's not as overwhelmed, right? So like Cow Dog Designs NC says, too much stuff. My whole house feels like a junk drawer. I want to offer this. I love playing what I call opposite land. Wouldn't it be great to just live in a house that was like just right, had just the right amount of stuff, not too little, not too much, but just right. And also, instead of your house feeling like a junk drawer, feeling like everything's in its place. A junk drawer is just a bunch of unrelated stuff in a small place. Extrapolate that to your home. What you do, start small, start with the junk drawer. And what you do is you separate like items together. All your dirty laundry in one pile, all your clean laundry in one pile, all your papers in one pile, all your pencils in one pile. Like items together. You need to sort through the things and use the pattern recognition system in your brain to say, as soon as you say, I'm only going to pull out the trash right now, your brain will see the trash. It'll be easy, but you just have to start, and your brain wants to help you. Okay. You know what? I love being decluttered. I'm not a boring person, but I love having a nice clean home that I walk into and I'm like, oh, this is great. But I wasn't born this way. I took the journey in my life. And now that I've been there and I know how great it is over here, that's why I put myself out there almost like a co-pilot or like a travel guide, to be like, I hop in with you and I show you how to get here. And I know the potholes and I know the way to get there, because it's so great once you do it. Okay. My house is amazing, clean for 15 minutes, and then my kids take out all their toys and stuff. Okay, Jennifer, I want to offer this to you with love and compassion. I think as a parent, it is part of our responsibilities to show kids how to keep a clean home, a decluttered home. So the part of that process that maybe is not happening and you could lovingly show them, you could create adults that know how to keep a clean home for more than 15 minutes, is remind them that part of the process of playing with your toys is that when you are done with your toys, you put them back. And this means that you need to have a place that's easy for them to put it back. That you also just take the drama out of it. Then instead of saying, you got to put your toys away, just say, this is what we do here. You take them out, you put them back. You take them out again, you put them back. And you create that pattern with them that everybody just gets in the habit of putting away the stuff that they've taken out. Now, I'm not going to say it works 98% of the time. There will be time that stuff will be left out, but when it's left out, when your go-to is that the stuff gets put away, then you have a place to put it, it works better, and you are raising little kids that are going to be good adults because they know how to take care of themselves and clean up after themselves, okay? All right. How do you convince your husband? You don't. I can't convince you of anything. Do you know how hard it is to change yourself? You know how hard it is to change somebody else? What I would offer is this. You can have a loving, interesting conversation with him. Ask him why he's keeping this stuff. And if you come at it with a sense of, instead of, butting heads, to be like, let's have a clean house together, you might get some traction. Also, I will say this. Anybody who's trying to convince somebody else, physician, heal thyself. Like, I would always complain about, my mother is probably still complaining about my father cluttering up the house, and she's the only person who's lived in that house for like 10 years. And I say this with love because my mother knows this, but for oftentimes it was like, it's not me, it's him. It's not me, it's him. Even my husband is cluttered. He's good. He's allowed me to, he's been my guinea pig, but I had to work on my own stuff before I could work on his. So when you've worked on your stuff, shortstop one, I'm not saying you haven't, but if you haven't, you are 100% cool with your stuff and everything's all set, then just approach your husband like you would yourself with love and curiosity and compassion. Here's a funny thing. Audrey Keene says, so I threw away a cord and finally 3 days later I needed it. Yep, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You got to laugh. You say, I'm saving this, and then one day I'm going to use it. Now you go buy another cord. Oh, well, live and learn. We buy things. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. We get rid of stuff. Sometimes we don't need it, sometimes we will. Welcome to being a human on the planet. It's okay. See, there you go. I love that you're teaching them daily. Keep up with it. You're doing a good thing. And just think, you're not just doing it for the house they live in now. You are training them to be good adults. So I love seeing that. Awesome. Yep. Little things. I've been this way since I was a child, and I don't know why, because I'm the only one that is like this. I don't know. Your brain's different. No big deal. I'm left-handed. I'm the only kid in my family that's left-handed. Why am I like that? I don't know. But I have created a life that I can, my desk is set up so for my left-handed desk. Find what works for you. That's what I say. Okay. Rotate toys monthly. All good ideas. All right. We have 4 more minutes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it just happens. So what I will say is this, you guys. This has been so great. Thank you so much for giving me such good questions to help you with. I hope this helped you with what you're struggling with stuff and clutter. If I didn't get to your question, please know that I did not leap over it. It's just the way that they show up on these TikTok lives. But let me give you some resources before I sign off, because this will be good for you for tomorrow, for next weekend, and especially next week, because I'm going away and I'm going to try to keep myself off the TikTok because I think it's really important to be in the now, as they say. So, my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. You can go to destinationdecluttered.com and learn more about me. My name is Beth. I'm on the East Coast of the U.S., but I just work with people on Zoom. I am a decluttering life coach, so it's not just about decluttering. It's about how your clutter affects all areas of your life and how to get yourself to the life that you want to live. You can see all my videos here on TikTok. I've got a bunch of them. I upload them daily. We'll see how it goes when I'm on vacation. We'll see. The other thing is, too, is that these TikTok lives I find that they have been so beneficial to people that they've asked me to record them and put them on YouTube. So there's a YouTube channel that I just started for Destination Decluttered. Please like that as well. I will download these and I add them there. So you can seriously just pop one on. Don't even have to look at it. I don't change. Literally, I rarely show you things. So you can put this on and listen while you are decluttering your house. If you'd like to stay in touch via email, I have an email mailing list at destinationdecluttered.com/join. When you join up with it, you will automatically get sent. And now I feel like I found like an infomercial, but it's true. I have this is my habit tracker that I use myself to keep me on track for the things that are important to me. You get a blank one, and you get one that I've pre-populated with 10 easy peasy things that if you just concentrate on those things, that will help you get decluttered every day you show up and do it. The other thing, which is the most important way to work with me, is directly one-on-one, just for you. We work on Zoom. I offer a 10-week, 1 hour a week Zoom session with me where all we do is focus on where you are and where you want to go. And we create a map. We talk about what rooms do you want to tackle. I give you support, I give you advice, and you learn skills during this. And you show up, and it's 10 weeks. So the stuff that seemed foreign to you at the beginning becomes a good habit by the end of it. So that by the time it's done, your house is decluttered, you know how to declutter your mind, you have a better idea of what's important to you, and you have those skills that you can share with your family and that you will have for the rest of your life to help you live a life that you're always aiming for, that cool life you want to do, okay? I showed up today at 10 o'clock Eastern because I'm on the East Coast, so I hope I found some people that are on the West Coast, so nice to see you. Tomorrow I have another one, and frankly I can't remember when it is. I think it's 9 a.m. Eastern, but what I'll offer this is go to my TikTok page, and I pinned a post that tells when I'm going to be here, okay? I love, can I just tell you, I will sign off with this, when Love Yourself As You Are says, I cleaned the entire time we were together today. Thank you for the time. I am thankful for you. I love that you're doing it. Okay, Paige, you're not drowning. You're not. You've got that nice little, it's not a Titanic. You're there with like a little fun thing that's keeping you afloat. This is keeping you afloat, and then little dog paddling, you've got this, okay? Thanks so much, you guys. I'm glad to help you. If you know somebody who's struggling with clutter and stuff too, please let them know I'm here. I can only help people if they know I exist on the planet. So I really appreciate this. I really got to get up because my back's starting to hurt. But thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow.